Hey folks, it's Tom Antion Live. Hey, how are you? A great Sunday night we have here tonight. Well, we got a great show for you tonight, and I always like to start off with the goofy stuff I enjoy. I'm the biggest kid on earth, to tell you the truth. So I got these things around the house. When they're laying flat, it looks like coffee spills. People, what's really kind of goofy is that the nicest people are the ones that just jump up and run to get a paper towel or something. I've got toothpaste tubes. I've got a thing that goes on the keyboard of a desktop computer, and it looks like nail polish spilled into it. You got Pepsi cans. I'll tell you what, this is a good racket. These are like $14 or $15 a piece retail. So I have these around the house, and it's just life is too short to go through it and be totally serious all the time. Well, I see a lot of people checking in from around the world here. Let me refresh this page here so I can get the live stream up and maybe see some who's on, and I see Alan Baris is here. Hey. Yeah, he says I got him with that. Charlotte's here. Hey, Charlotte, how are you? Good to see you on tonight. Please hit your share button so more people can hear about the show. We'll build up a nice big audience, and we'll have a lot of fun on Sunday nights. How about that? So anyway, this is my little thing here. I don't know. Here's Charles here. Hey, from Australia. Charles is here. Good to see you. Don't be afraid to put your name and where you're from in here and ask questions, and I'll do my best to see. Now, we're broadcast on several different channels at once. So if you're on one channel, I won't see your feed. So you might want, hey, Ian calling in from Thailand. Awesome. I may not see your comment until after the show. So the main one for now, until we get all this technology figured out, is facebook.com/Antion. And then I should see your comments coming in. Okay, let's see what else we got here going for you. Of course, we always have our warning that whenever I get fired up about something, could be some foul language. So luckily it's late at night, so hopefully the kids are in bed. All right, well, I think it's time for our fake sponsor. We always have a fake sponsor. There's Tony Guthrie. Hey, Tony, how are you? Glad you could make it. We always have a fake sponsor, so just to be clear, this company is not sponsoring me, but our fake sponsor tonight is Dogtra. This is the transmitter for one of the e-collars for my protection dogs. And I was, I think last week or the week before, I was talking about I have remote controls for everything. I have remote controls for my dog also. My dogs. These are really great. It's not like the old days where they would just fry the dog and the dog would be screaming. No, it's very highly controlled and a really great training aid nowadays. In fact, Abby, you just hit the vibrate button and she'll come running home from wherever she is. She comes running to me. So our fake sponsor for tonight is Dogtra. They also have ones called Einstein and different ones. So that's that. All right, let's see what we got coming up today. Well, we got some interesting questions in the mailbag tonight about Dallas. So we'll get into that. In the news, you're never going to believe who is sponsoring the Cub Scouts. Hey, Brian, nice to see you. Yes, it has been a long time. I'm kind of jealous of these sponsors of the Cub Scouts myself. We're going to have a variety of Craigslist scams for you to talk about in the scam section. And in the brutal self-defense tip, we're going to talk about, should you, if you have to respond to an attack and attack back, should you attack low or high? We'll discuss that in that section. In the internet section, I'm going to teach you how to make your hobbies tax deductible. This is one of the greatest things I've been doing since the internet started. And we'll show you how to do that very inexpensively. In the speaking section, we're going to talk about what to do if your time gets cut, and that happens all the time. So you need to be ready for it. And I see people in the bathroom sweating it out and beforehand trying to see what to cut. No, that's all going to get wiped out. I'll teach you that in the speaking section. And then we got the a-holes of the week. Let me ask you a question. Can we please force people to take a character and mental test before they have children? You think is that unconstitutional? I don't know. But where do you see this these a-holes of the week? And then we're going to have some really uplifting heroes of the week. I mean, it brought me to tears. I just heard a news conference today, and I'll talk about them later. Okay, so let's get to the mailbag. Let me see. Hopefully the color is staying a little better tonight. Well, until I get this paper out. There it goes again. So luckily I know the questions here. So this was a person that wished to remain anonymous. That's perfectly fine. If you have a question that you don't really want your name into, that's fine with me. And also, please hit your share button so other people can hear about this event on Sundays. Hit it now if you wouldn't mind. And one of the tips on doing these is you stay on it longer because it gives more people a chance to trip on you and find you. Also, if you want to get notice whenever I go live on something, which I do it for sure on Sunday nights, but occasionally I'll have things that pop up that I'll want you to know about, and you'll get immediate notice that I went live. If you can't listen then, of course it's a posting that you can come back and watch. So just hit follow or subscribe and you'll get notice when I go live. But anyway, in the mailbag, the question was, what would have been the appropriate action to take had I been in Dallas near the shooting? Wow. And of course, I'm virtually certain everybody knows about the big shooting in Dallas. And well, first of all, let's talk about this. When you're in an outdoor urban environment with lots of big buildings clustered together, and you have high-powered rifles going off, there's going to be a crazy echo effect. In other words, you cannot really trust where the shots are coming from. In fact, there was reports by the pundits and the experts that there was up to 4 shooters. And they had this big thing that was supposedly triangulating and creating a kill zone and all this. All of that was false. It was just because of echoes. People had no idea. It sounded like there was bullets coming from all different ways. So that's the first thing, is know that you can't trust what you're hearing. You may run right into it thinking that you're running away from it. So don't trust your ears when you're in if you happen to be in a situation like that. Okay, next thing, do your best to stay calm. And I know that is a crazy thing to say, because I've been a person that under heavy pressures and all kinds of craziness, I've somehow got the gift of staying calm and thinking it through. It's much better than just running around like crazy and not knowing what you're doing. So if you can, stay calm and evaluate the situation. But what that brings up is the fact that any time you're out, you should be evaluating where you can escape to safety if something goes wrong. And I'm certainly not telling you to be paranoid. I just want you to be aware. Alan Barista is on here tonight from surviveanddefend.com, and he teaches active shooter classes in Montana. And he also was the co-instructor with Brutal Self-Defense I did. And you just, you have to evaluate ahead of time, and that gives you the heads up if something does go wrong. What are you going to do? You want to evaluate where you can escape to safety or where you can get cover. So this would be a time to talk about cover and concealment. Cover is something where a bullet won't penetrate if you're behind it. Concealment means you just can't be seen, but if a bullet happened to come your way, it would still hit you. So that's the big difference. So you want to try to get cover whenever you possibly can. So I'm thinking about this. It's Texas. I guarantee you somewhere within running distance, there's probably a jacked up pickup truck somewhere. In other words, it's high or off the ground. I would hone in on that baby and get under it, especially because there ain't no way I'm getting under a compact car. Most of you won't either, but for sure I won't. And then evaluate. Where's everybody running? Are they all running one direction and it seems reasonable? Or are they all hesitant and running in circles? They don't know what to do? Stay put. Stay right there. Evaluate what's going on. Now, if you don't have a high clearance vehicle anywhere, I'll tell you what, lay down right next to the vehicle, parallel to it, under the doors, and force yourself into the crack of the right there. And keep your head and torso as much as you can in front of the tire and the wheel. Now, if you're on the other side from where the shooter is, you're in pretty good shape, all right? You can take a shot in the ass and the legs and live, all right, but not in the head, and probably not in the torso too much. Now, now listen to this, folks, even if the shooter is on the same side as you are, a shooter that's out to do hell-bent for leather to kill people is not looking for people laying down parallel to a car hard to see. They're looking for easy-to-shoot silhouettes of people, which is when you stand up, you create a silhouette and you're an easy target. So it's possible a shooter would go right by you and never even notice you because they're picking off easy targets. Okay? So jam yourself next to a car. Then keep an eye out for where's the next place you can get away from the shooter and stay and get to cover, another cover. Maybe there's a park with a brick wall or a stone wall. You could jump over the wall and crawl your way out away. You know, you have to look for stuff that bullets won't penetrate. So that's the first thing. Distance is the second thing. Get as far away as fast as you can. And Alan taught me this at, you know, it used to be we would teach running away to zigzag. Well, Alan said, taught me at the Brutal Self-Defense that the latest thing is that that's been missed and busted out, because what happens is people are trying to zigzag and they're falling down and they're not getting away as easily, twisting their ankles and all that. So just run like as fast as you can, as long as you know you're running away from the shooter. Every ounce of distance makes it a less chance you're going to get hit at all and hit fatally. Okay. Now, try, look for light poles. These are types of cover. Vehicles, walls, buildings. If you just go around the corner of a building in a downtown area, there ain't no way a bullet's going through there unless you're going through plate glass windows. But if it's a solid building, bullets go straight. All right, that's the way it is. So get around the corner. So anyway, those are some of the things. Oh, and one thing, Texas is an open carry state, and I'm not in favor of open carry because the bad guy knows who to shoot first. All right, and the other problem is even if you're concealed carry like I am, don't draw your weapon in a situation like this unless you see an obvious active shooter coming your way and you can't get away. Don't draw your weapon because the police officers don't know who the shooter is. And they're probably going to, if they see you with a weapon drawn, boom, they're going to take you out. Done. All right, so don't draw your weapon. Now, what's an obvious shooter? Well, if a guy's coming around and shooting people and civilians randomly, well, that's a shooter, all right? But if it's a guy just carrying a rifle, it could be an undercover cop. So you can't say for sure. You don't make any rash decisions and shoot a cop. And then also you look at their torso to see if it appears they're bulked up and have body armor on, okay? So it ain't going to do you a bit of good if you're carrying a pistol and you try to shoot them in the chest. I mean, you might knock them down if you're lucky, but you may have to, and headshots are too hard to do. You may have to just try to shoot their legs and then run up on them and finish them off, somehow. So anyway, that's the first thing out of the mailbag is what to do, and that's of course a horrendous situation nobody ever wants to be in, but you'll increase your rate of survival, your chances of survival if you think about it a little bit. And I see lots of more people are coming in, more than last week. That's good. If you wouldn't mind hitting your share button, that'd be great. And put comments in the bottom. I think I can see them coming through here. I want to double check here. Yeah, I don't think I missed anything. Yeah, and Alan says you can get a free 10 tips on surviving a shooter. at surviveanddefend.com, surviveanddefend.com. And a lot of the links and everything that I tell you, folks, you can always check out the show notes at tomantionlive.com, tomantionlive.com. At the top, I have links. I just put that in tonight. I have links for some of the sections I do all the time. I'm talking about brutal self-defense now and surviveanddefend.com. And then each show will have its individual sections. I think I got last week's done, and I'll go back a couple weeks and finish those show notes off. But appreciate it. Hey, there's Tara. How you doing? Tom, what are your feelings on safe havens in school classrooms? I'm not sure of the terminology, Tara, but the thing is what Alan teaches and what I've learned in my studies is you can't just sit around and wait to get shot. You got to barricade yourself. Hey, RC from Denver, nice checking in. You got to do something. You got to barricade the door. You got to escape to safety. These are things that Alan kick in the ones that you promote. And then if you can't escape to safety and if you can't barricade yourself, you got to fight it out. You can't just hide under a table and get shot like a shooting gallery, sitting duck they call them. But I'm all for learning and making safe rooms, if that's what you mean. Even in homes, you should have a safe room that you can barricade easily. And in Virginia, we have a duty to retreat, it's called. It's not like Florida that's a stand your ground state. So we have a duty to retreat. And it makes sense. I mean, I don't care if you're in a stand your ground state. It's stupid to not retreat if you can, okay? So, but I'm not sure if there's a particular thing to safe haven, if that means a certain thing that I just don't know about. Okay. All right. So another mailbag question we had was Jeff Herring, a different topic, wanted to know what I thought about the newest social media stuff like Snapchat. Well, first of all, I'm a person that always uses what I call dull edge technology. I don't jump on the latest, greatest of anything right away. Although I jumped on this, but this has been around for 6 or 8 months, I think. So I finally jumped on this Facebook Live stuff. But my first thing to Jeff would be search around, because somebody has developed the demographics of that particular social media. Reddit has one, Tumblr has one, Snapchat has one, Instagram has one, Pinterest has one. Now, if your typical customer is not in that target market, then I think you're wasting your time fooling with it unless you got time to burn. So that's my bottom line. Don't bother learning it or doing it if your target market isn't there. That's it. There's always going to be new. Somebody put a thumbs up flying across the screen there. Okay, so that's my thought on it. Find the demographics of the thing first before you fool with it. And Alan says, yeah, the 3 options from surviveanddefend.com are escape, barricade, or fight. And setting classrooms and offices up so you can escape, barricade, or fight easier is wise to do. And there's things you can make to lock the door easier. And there's ways to barricade it. You'd want to go on Alan's site and learn how you can coordinate with people in the room to barricade things and block the door by making a human chain, and how to attack a guy. Now this is all illustrated in our brutal self-defense. I'm begging you, folks. I'm begging you. Will you go buy the videos from brutalselfdefense.com/videos? It'll be the best investment in your safety and your family's safety and your grandchildren's safety. Go buy them. Alan and I sweated blood for 2 days teaching every possible thing we could fit in. You got 14 hours of video. Please go buy it. There's no more important time on earth to get this stuff with the way things are going. And it's not looking good. It's getting worse. Okay. So, and also hit share so more and more people can hear about this. Okay, so let's see what we got here. We've got the mailbag knocked out. Announcements. Butt Camp is July 30th. This is my one of the longest running internet seminars ever. Very goofy name because I'm sitting on my rear end making money, but definitely a high power full day of and you don't have to come anymore. We can stream it to you wherever you are in the world. So it's July 30th, and the link is over at Tom Antion Live if you want to check out the details. And of course, anytime you attend butt camp, once paid, you come forever for free. Now that's to the live event. Now we do have a little tiny streaming fee for people that are going to do it, but it's going to save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars of flying here and hotel and meals and stuff. Maybe $1,000 it'll save you. So it's we can stream it to you right at your house, and you'll get the latest, greatest stuff going on the internet. So that's that. Then the next thing is sponsorship. Roberto Candelaria did sponsorship boot camp with us, and people were just crazy about it. Those videos are available, and also you can see the link over at Tom Antion Live to check out those videos. And that's where you get big companies to give you enormous amounts of money that you do not have to pay back. And it's not like crowdfunding, it's a whole different animal, but you're getting money that you don't have to pay back to finance your dreams, your projects, and all kinds of stuff. And little guys and girls are getting this money now because traditional advertising is not working anymore for people. All right, so let's see. And I'm also looking for 2 people, 3 at the most, who really want to accelerate their speaking career. You can check that out at antion.com/pro speaking. The link's also over at Tom Antion Live, where it's a accelerated mentor program, one-on-one, for you to really kick off your speaking career. All right, or improve it if it sucks the way it is. All right, let's get into some news now. Now, this is a kind of a sobering, sad thing if you're going to the doctors. An investigation into sexual abuse by U.S. doctors has found that since 1999, more than 3,100 physicians have been disciplined for sexual misconduct. And out of those, 2,400 actually sexually abused their patients. And here's the craziest thing. Half of them are still practicing. They didn't even take their license, folks. So be careful. I ask people to abuse me half the time, and they won't do it. but if you're going, take somebody with you. What was the speaking link again, Tony? It's antion.com/pro speaking. It's also at Tom Antion Live. Mary Beth wants to know, is the streaming version of Butt Camp interactive? Yes, you have a chat box, feeds the questions to the guy running the streaming, and he sends them to the presenter and answers it right there for you. So yes, it's very interactive. Yeah, it's awesome. We just did it with the sponsorship boot camp, people all around the world. We only had like 5 people in the audience live, and the rest of them were all over the world as far as Indonesia. No problem, Mary Beth. So anyway, be careful. If you're worried, if you feel like you're not comfortable, go to female doctors, and I'm assuming that most of these were male, or take somebody with you, and have them right where they're with you to knock that out. I don't want to see anybody getting abused out there. And I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but the joke with that is what other profession can you get someone else's wife to take her clothes off and then send a bill for $500? All right, so it makes the point though. You're vulnerable, so don't. People. There's just some bad people out there, and I want you to be careful. Okay, now here's the part that this is just not fair, folks. This is not fair. Huh? That's not a good thing. I didn't turn my speakers off. It's not fair. I was a Cub Scout, and not once did we get sponsored by the people that sponsored one of our events. So what happened was these parents were coming to pick up their kids from this in Denver to a Cub Scout camp. There was no mention of this ahead of time. And they get there, and there's a bunch of Hooters girls playing with the kids. All boys. The Cub Scouts, I think it's all boys. Yeah, the Girl Scouts would be different. And so it's kind of a divide here. All the mothers were mad about this, but all the fathers were like, darn, I was going to volunteer for this thing and I didn't do it. We did not have Hooters girls at my Cub Scout troop where I lived. All right, so we had the mailbag, right? So I was thinking about, okay, I have a section on scams. So I thought I'll call it the scam bag because that's where you find the scumbags. Let's see. If you had not been to a butt camp, let's keep this simple. Go. Right, yeah. I mean, there's been millionaires, I don't know how many at this point, but come out of starting to just go into one of my butt camps and learning and taking off and doing this stuff. Thanks, Jeff. Okay, so let's talk about some Craigslist scams. Listen, folks, if you have an animal that, let's say you're forced to move and you can't take a pet with you, and I mean, it's bad enough to give a pet away to start with. But do not give them away on Craigslist unless you are absolutely willing to go to the nth degree to check out the people coming to get the pet. Because here's what happens. They come, a nice family, they might even bring a child with them who's playing and loves the dog, and they're the most wonderful people on earth, right? Well, maybe they are, maybe they're not. Maybe, just maybe, they're going to take that animal and sell it to the vivisection people that do animal testing via torture of this animal, all right? And get, I don't know, $300 or $400 for a dog or a cat from these people. So if you are going to give away a pet if you're forced to, I mean, I don't want you giving away pets. I mean, pets don't need to be abandoned. There's enough, most of them have had a tough enough life as it is. But if you do have to, be careful, because the last thing you want on your conscience is some poor, loving soul being tortured because you didn't take now you're on notice. Maybe you didn't know about this before, but you do now. So be careful if you're going to give an animal away. Try not to in any way if you can keep that animal or give it to somebody you know. I know that around here in Norfolk we have military people being deployed all the time, and they're just kind of stuck. But be careful. Okay, another Craigslist scam is a rental scam, where they either post pictures of an apartment that doesn't exist, that's listed at below market rent, and they only fool people that are in other cities, because if you tried to go look at the apartment locally, you couldn't do it because it doesn't exist. But they try to get people moving to a city to send a deposit in on this below market value gorgeous apartment or house, and it doesn't exist, and they just take as many as they can until the heat comes out, and then they disappear. So that's a typical rental scam. Another one would be the apartment actually exists, but it doesn't belong to them, and they have no rights to take deposits or money. They might have seen a house for rent, gone and somehow defeated the lock system, and even had a key and meet you there and show you the place. I mean, these people have balls, I'm telling you. So you triple check anything to make sure you're dealing with the right people. If you find something on Craigslist or anywhere, and you need to rent it, all right, because it's another just crazy thing. Now, one thing that's going on around the country that's a handy thing for you. If you buy and sell on Craigslist, now I do also, but I'm not as worried about it because I'm very cognizant of dangerous situations. But whether you buy or sell, chances are you're going to have cash one way or the other, or a product that's worth something. And meeting somebody at an unknown place can be dangerous. So many police stations are allowing Craigslist people to meet in their parking lot to make transactions. All right. No, not drug deals. I don't think that would be the best idea. But, if you have a TV, you throw it in a car and take it to the police station. The guy shows up with cash. You make the deal there. You leave with the cash. They leave with the TV. Everybody's happy. Don't let them follow you and then rob you with that cash, all right? But just be darn careful making deals on Craigslist, especially if you have something big and people have to come into your house. That's extremely dangerous, so just be extremely careful with that. All right, let's get to a self-defense tip. We kind of talked about a lot of them in the active shooter thing, but should you attack high or low? What do you think? Put it in your comments there, folks. Should you, if somebody's coming after you, should you attack them high or should you attack them low? What should be your first line? Go ahead and put some comments in there. Let me get a drink here. I'm hoping I can see all these comments. Let's see. Oh, I better refresh the page here. Okay, I've got Charles Martin says low. Mark Shapiro says low. Tony Guthrie says low. RJ says low to slow him down. Jamie Coyne says low. Hi, Chella. Chella's calling from Los Angeles. Yeah, Alan reinforced police stations and other safe places are helping with transactions. A lot of RC says low. Okay, well here's the thing, folks. It's both. It's low and high. And here's the thing: an untrained fighter that comes after you their mind can't fathom a high attack and a low attack at the same time. It's just not, if they're not practiced, their mind is not going to help there. Now, if you come after me, me and a lot of other people that have studied a lot of stuff like me, I have a philosophy that I've lived for hundreds of years now. I'm not going to block anything that wouldn't hit me. And I'm not going to block anything that even if it did hit me, it wouldn't hurt me. All right, I've lived by that. So when you have that kind of philosophy and you practice, and you know the distances where people can hit you, you're not going to get faked out. I want to protect my head. All right, the head is, if you get my quote is, if you get knocked unconscious, unconscionable things will happen to you. That's my original quote. RC says, run if you can. Yeah, that's for sure. This is if you have to attack. So I'll tell you a story. One time, I was at my nightclub. This is years ago when I had a nightclub, and there's a lot of locals, and on the during the week and weekends we had people coming from everywhere. But so one of the locals gets all drunked up, and during the week, not much going on. He's out in the parking lot when I'm out there cleaning up or doing something, and he decides that he wants to take me on. Now this kid is 18, 19 years old. This is before the drinking age went to 21. He's 6'5". He's strong as an ox. Some farm worker from local out of the rural areas there. He's been coming in for years. He decides he wants to take me on. So I'm thinking, this is not good. So basically, I kicked him low, not in his groin. I didn't want to really tear the kid up. But I kicked him in the thigh. He bent over, which I knew he would, because a low attack is going to, for an untrained person, is going to cause them to go forward with their head forward. And then what I did is I used what's called a ridge hand. Now, a ridge hand is this part of your hand right here. You put your thumb under, and now you don't do it squinched up like this. I mean, I really hit him like this, but it's like opposite of like a knife hand. And so this is a ridge hand. So I kicked him low. He bent forward. I hit him, not full power, because I didn't want to kill the kid. And he dropped. He just dropped. I mean, I just knocked him out, all right? So he's all, I help him come to. I get the people inside to bring him, put some ice on him and everything. He's all groggy. And I send him walking home. So he's a quarter mile down the road he lives. So the next day, he comes in and he says, "Oh man, Tom, somebody clocked me like that." It was me. He didn't even, no. And then he showed me, he said, "My leg is killing me." He showed me his leg. He had this big bruise on his thigh. Right? So, but anyway, the point was, in that case, I hit low to open up high because he's an untrained fighter. All right. Now, let's say, take something for you ladies out there. We were doing this at Brutal Self-Defense. A guy had a tie on. Doesn't have to have a tie on, but let's say a guy's messing with you and his hands are up high, and maybe he's got his hands trying to get you to kiss him or just something like that. Well, you can just grab his tie, or right here, you could grab like that and pull him towards you. Now, there's other things you can do. You could headbutt him and scratch his eyes, all kinds of things, all right? But let's say it's not one of these situations where you really want to tear somebody up bad. So you pull him. Well, if you grab my tie or my shirt like this, what is a normal person going to do? Their hands are going to come up here because you attacked high and try to get you. Well, guess what's open now? My whole from here down is totally open till you kick me in the stomach, kick me in the nuts, kick me in the knee, anything. So this would be opposite, where I'm trying to get the bottom open by messing around up here. Now, when you get really good at it, you can hit low and high at the same exact time. Nobody's going to be able to block that unless they're highly skilled. So, answer is you do both whenever, whichever is appropriate for the situation, and the more you practice, the more you'll know. Okay, so there we go. Let me get my thing open here, see what's next. Okay, internet tip. Making your hobbies tax deductible. This is one thing. Oh, and by the way, folks, I want to thank you. I see a lot more people coming on. If you could hit share, get people more and more exposed to this so I can afford to keep doing this for you all. I appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe or follow. That way you'll get notice of when I come live, at least on Sundays, and I'll do it during the week if there's something special going on. So a big thumbs up going across the screen. Okay, so make your hobbies tax deductible. Well, if you're going to do something as a hobby, you are just taking your money and spending it. And you get no tax credit for it. It's just poof, gone. Hopefully you got some enjoyment out of it. Well, I've been a guy my entire life. I've been in business for myself, and I watch for situations where I can do something I really enjoy, but make it legitimately tax deductible. Now, I'm not an accountant. I'm not an attorney. But, of course, you check with your attorney on anything I might suggest, keeping in mind, hey, Rick, good friend just checked in, keeping in mind that, you know, most of them are conservative and they're going to say, oh, no, that's too risky. Well, no, it's not if you do it legitimately. So, for instance, I'm a tennis nut, and I got all these tennis DVDs. I got rackets, a couple $100 a piece, and a ball machine for $1,700, and all this stuff, right? And tennis court to maintain. So I thought, I'm just spending all this money. I'm just going to create a website. It cost me $15. At the most, it's going to cost you $100. It's called Fatso Tennis. All right, so I'm the largest guy ever to star and produce a tennis training video. And I started selling this tennis video. Now, you don't have to create a product. You could just be an affiliate marketer and make some money. But if you have a website up and you're collecting money from it on a particular topic, and you are promoting that topic with these other expenditures that you have to promote that topic, that's business. That's just basic business stuff. See, so that makes a reasonable amount of my expenses tax deductible. And it depends. You can't take $10,000 in expenses and you took in $2 on this website, right? But if you can create a website for less than $100, and I'm talking world-class website with a WordPress website with a theme, a gorgeous theme on it, and then about the topic, and you either create your own product, write an ebook on the topic, or make a CD or DVD, or find affiliate products and do all that and promote it and make money. Now you've got excuses to go play golf. Let's say you have a golf site. I've got protection dogs. I got two snoring right here right now. Rubik's is in this one crate and Abby's in the other crate. and I feed them raw, spend a lot of money on them, and but I just got a $5,000 commission yesterday for Protection Dogs Elite. Our protection dogs start at $20,000. And so I create a website, I take the orders, write up the contract, the trainers train the dog to suit the client, and they go from $20,000 up to $60,000 or so. So that makes these dogs who are models, and we do demos with them to show the client what the dog can do and all that. So make your hobbies tax deductible. Think about, where do you spend money that you don't get any tax credit for? Create a website around it. Either find a product or make a product and get in business in that topic. And now you talk about doing what you love. That's a perfect example. Okay. Let's go to a speaking tip. How about that? All right, but before we do that, put in your comments, what could you do that with right now, that one tip? What is some hobby that you do that you could put up a cheap website and make the hobby tax deductible? Put it in there right now. I'm going to take a swig here. Also, remember this from the other day? My yes man. Isn't this a great show?
I couldn't agree with you more completely.
I love this guy. Yeah, that's my... he doesn't cost much either. I don't have to pay him or anything. He just says yes all the time. All right, so what could you do? Put it in the chat box there. What could you use this idea for? Tennis, golf, archery, even things that your kids like. All right, it doesn't have to be you. It could be your kids. So we'll let some of them come in here, and I'll go ahead to the speaking tip of the week while you're thinking about that. Okay, if you've done any kind of speaking at all, you're going to get your time cut. They're going to be running late, and they have to quit at a certain time, and you have to stop. All right. So what do? Well, I've been in so many of these events where I've seen the speaker almost throwing up in the bathroom because they're worried that, whoa, my God, I don't know what to do. I had 40 minutes of material and they want me to do it in 15. Oh my God, I don't know. Well, again, just like the shooter scenario, the more you plan in advance, the better off you are. So if you're getting paid to speak, you want to check with the meeting planner and say, well, what do you want me to cut out? This is all you wanted me to say, and now you want me to cut my time, so which is your priorities here? So then it puts it on them of what gets cut out. But here's what we call a genius tip. Let's say you had a 4-minute story. And by the way, I learned this from Terry Paulson, excuse me, from the National Speakers Association, past president, National Speakers Association. I learned this years ago from him. What you do is you have a quotation ready that substitutes for maybe a 4 or 5 minute story you were going to tell. So you can cut 4 or 5 minutes, boom, right there by using the quotation instead of the story. So here's one here, a quotation. If you are out to describe the truth, leave elegance to the tailor. That's Albert Einstein commenting on, you don't have to pretty things up. If it's true, the truth is the truth, all right? And so I usually use this if I'm talking to a group of speakers. See, I used to buy these $3,000 custom suits out of Los Angeles, and I was trying to work my way up and build my credibility and look like big shot. Well, what I found is that the nicer the suit that the guy had on, the more full of shit he was on stage, all right? And as I started just being me, I mean, I had no trouble walking at a big event and dressing like this. I have no trouble. Because I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to knock them dead with the good stuff that helps them. And that's more important than being elegant. All right? So I can knock out a 4-minute story about buying the suits and all that by just saying the Albert Einstein quote. And I might say a little bit about, I noticed that everybody else was full of BS with their fancy outfits. All right? So that's your tip, is if your time gets cut, think ahead of time what's the priorities of the material, and have quotes ready for stories that make the same point. That's your genius tip. Okay, so I see some people here. We got photography. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of money spent on cameras and lenses. Travel and writing. Got two people into that. Got videography, life at the beach, blogging training. So these are all things that if you love to do these anyway. I mean, blogging training, I'm not sure, Tony, if that's considered a hobby to start with. I'm saying stuff that you like to do that's fun, that you wouldn't think you could get a tax deduction for. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so there's your speaking tip on what to do if time gets cut. Okay, now your a-hole of the week. Now, in this case, we have a lot of winners. And I found a bunch of them on the same topic. And this is where I was saying about, I wish they had some kind of test, both character and mental, before they let you have kids. Jeff Herring says mountain hiking, wine, and movies. Those are all things that are just fun to do that you wouldn't think you could make money on. And you may not make a lot of money extra, but you keep more money because you get tax deductions for it. So as long as you're legitimate and it's not considered a hobby because you're not really trying to make money or you're not taking any money in. Okay, so let's get to these a-holes of the week. And they're all on the same topic. They've all done this same really pitiful bad thing. So that's why there's multiples. Letha K. Slauson held her 5-year-old daughter out Riley, as if she had colorectal cancer. And she collected money from all their friends and people doing crowdfunding and fundraisers for her. She actually shaved the child's head and made the child believe that they were dying of cancer. I'll tell you what, I'd like to slap the shit out of this. Oh my God, I don't even want to say person. I don't want to be sexist and say bitch. I don't want to get real bad and use the CU word. But my God, Jesus, how could you do that? How could you do that? But she's not the only one. Melissa Barton. She not only said her kid had cancer, I don't know if leukemia is a kind of cancer, she said both, and she hit her church up for all kinds of money. And she was about to go on Dr. Phil, get on the plane to go on Dr. Phil, pleading her case, and she got arrested before she got on the plane. People caught on to her. Another piece of shit. Emily Crano kept getting her child tested and put her on unneeded medications to convince everyone, including her husband, that her child was dying of cancer. She kept feeding the child seizure meds until the child could barely walk and wet himself all the time. Fuck. Can you fucking believe this? Stephen and Alicia Kelly convinced their 15-year-old daughter she had bone cancer. They kept feeding her blood pressure pills, telling her it was chemo medicine. And a double whammy here, the old lady, Alicia, was supposed to be caring for her elderly father, who she let die, and then kept collecting his Social Security checks for a year and a half after that. Whoa, Jesus. Juanita Garcia shaved her 7-year-old child's head and told her she would die in a few months. Roberto and Teresa Milbrandt. Little Hannah was given sleeping pills to make her look sick. They shaved her head, put bandages on her, made her wear a surgical mask, and little Hannah asked Santa to let her live for Christmas. Fuck. Oh, my. Sandy Nigan. Son believed he was dying. She collected $23,000 and took the whole family to Disneyland with it. Susan Morris Stillwagon did the same thing. This is why I'm saying they should have tests before they let you have kids. I mean, it's just too easy to be a piece of shit. Yeah, Somi. Hey, Somi, how are you? Yeah, Mary Beth says that she said she, but I think you're talking about all of these women sound like they're nuts. Jeff said, my son Caleb and I just spent a week volunteering with Lighthouse Family Retreat, who works with families living through childhood cancer. Real people with real problems. I did see that, Jeff, holding that one young girl who seemed to take to you. That was so touching. I'm trying to find where the rest of your thing was. Oh, special place in hell for these scammers. Yeah, that's right. I'm good, Somi. Miss you. Totally. Okay, so anyway, those people just get me boiled up. I mean, it's hard to tell what I would do if I was in their presence. It wouldn't be, it wouldn't be pleasant, I can tell you that. And I'm a guy that can really hold my emotions in and be calm in the face of adversity, but some things cross the line. All right. Let's see. What do you hear? You pay here, they will get. Yeah. What you do here, Somi, this is a young lady I've known for years. Never got to meet your cat, Somi, but she's got a couple beautiful children now. She says, what you do here, you pay here. They will get it back. Yeah, Somi, they probably will. I don't want to go to jail for them. Okay, so let's get on the hero thing here. And I don't have the names pinned down here, but and I had another one lined up for you, but I'm going to call an audible here for the hero of the week. And there's actually, I think, 3. I was listening to the radio today, and I was listening to the, and I'll use the color here because I think it's pertinent. The black lady who had, I think, 4 children. And they were running down the street in Dallas away from the gunman, and she got hit in the leg either with a ricochet or hit. I don't think the guy was trying to shoot her because he made it clear he wanted to shoot white policemen. But anyway, she gets hit with the bullet, falls down on the ground on top of her one son. Her other 3 sons are still hauling ass and don't even know she's hit. Well, the 3 heroes, and I don't have their names, are the 3 police officers who immediately jumped on her and covered her. One was on her torso, one was on her head and her child, and the other one was on her legs, knowing that high-powered bullets would defeat their body armor probably, because a high-powered an AK or a 223 is going to go through what most of them wear is a level 2 if it's hot, which they might have been wearing a level 2 or a level 3A body armor. So on their back is just one layer of 3A, which will stop up to a 44 Magnum handgun, but it's not going to stop an AK or an AR-15 or any equivalent to that, or 308. And I'm assuming at the split-second decision that they made that they figured, well, it's got to go through my back plate, my torso, and my front plate before it hits this lady. Can you fucking believe that? They're taking heavy arms fire, and instead of running, they lay down like sitting ducks to cover and to protect this one lady that can't run. And she saw 2 of the police officers get shot and fall down right in front of her. The real big guy and another guy. She saw them get killed. She did a press conference today. So the irony of this whole thing is that the police were there protecting protesters that were protesting police. I don't get it. I don't get it, folks, what the world's coming to. I do not get it. I'm going to be prepared for it, but I don't get it. I mean, there was a mathematician on TV tonight, a black mathematician, totally debunking with statistics and math and everything that's going on out there that people are protecting and yapping about. And and here, Jeff says, I was just reading about her. She publicly thanked the officers. Yeah. And everybody's talking about how all the protesters are hauling ass this way and all the police are hauling ass towards the threat. That's what they do, folks. And do you think I'm sticking up for all of them? No, there's a tiny fraction of nutcases out there that are power hungry, and yeah, you're totally right. But the percentage is so minuscule. It is not worth all this destruction and hoopla that's going on around our country. Not worth it. It's totally misinformed. It's misled. It's our leadership is goofy, crazy. I don't know what their problem is. So anyway, when you think that you want to protest a police officer, try going a couple days without him. All right, go live in Baltimore. see what's going to happen to you. If what was there 60? No, that was Chicago. 60 murders or something, or shootings. I don't know if it was murders or shootings just over 4th of July weekend. So those are our heroes of the week. Those 3 guys that jumped in and pretty much gave up their life, potentially, knowing heavy arms fire were coming to protect a lady they didn't know and her child that they didn't know. All right. Okay, so we got through another show. Yay! Yeah, Jamie says the media likes stirring up trouble. So, don't forget I can take 2 or 3 people at the most in my new speaking mentor program. Please check it out at antion.com/pro speaking. I'll take you from here, wherever you are, to way up here out of the scene, because I've been doing this for many years, folks, and have helped literally thousands and thousands of people in that field. And also, don't forget, go check out Butt Camp. You can check in streaming. My whole crew is keeping up on the latest stuff. We're going to have Lakia there telling you the latest social media stuff. Going to have a special guest, Warren Carlisle, who is an Instagram expert, doing things that if you didn't think Instagram was for you, be there. He will let you know why Instagram is awesome. We're going to have Travis, one of my top guys, there talking about the cool things we're doing with quizzes and locking off content unless you share it and all kinds of stuff like that. Going to have Mark, my video guy, has been here, I think, 6-7 years, written 3 books on video marketing. He's going to give you the latest on YouTube marketing. There's so many little details that you probably don't know about. And then I'll be doing the whole morning with all the stuff I've been doing. We're shifting from search engine to paid traffic and things like that. So anyway, check out the Pro Speaking Mentor Program and get signed up for Butt Camp. If you're a graduate, you just pay a $15 streaming fee, early bird fee. And if you've never come before, you pay one time, and then you come forever for free for updates. There's people have been there 7, 8, 9 times. So. All right, folks, I will see you next Sunday. Please share this, and if anything comes up between time, I'll let you know. Somi, goodbye. Another show. Jamie, really enjoyed this. Charles, thanks. I'll see you. And everybody else, catch you next week. See you later.